What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm your host, Brian Costa, and today I have got a great episode in store for you guys. On this episode, I have got a chance to talk with, yet another great college athlete. With football season being back, I wanted to dive back into the world of college football. And joining me on the show today is a sophomore defensive back from Bryant University who is currently working his way back to the gridiron as we speak. Before he came to Smithfield, he led his high school in interceptions and was a two-time GMC Player of the Week. On today's episode, we're going to discuss his football journey as well as his future with the Bryant Bulldogs as they now compete in the Big South Conference. So, without any further ado, hailing from Franklin Park, New Jersey, please welcome to the show, Calson Goodwill. Cal, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Cal, I'm having a great day. I'll be honest with you. It could be better. The Pats could have won. That could have made things a little bit better today. We are recording this on Sunday, so things could have gone a little bit better today. But all in all, man, it's a solid day so far. Kind of just wrapping up the weekend. Obviously, getting ready for another week. But man, thank you for coming on. Obviously, in the intro to the show, I was mentioning that you're working yourself back from an injury right now. Obviously, kind of run me through what happened and, where are you at right now?
First and foremost, I want to say thank you for, having me here, to
100%, man.
Here. But as far as the injury, probably the first week of August camp, I was having a pretty good camp. Things were going well for me. And then unfortunately, collided with one of my teammates and through my PCL, and I also sprained my ACL. So,
okay.
Been fighting, trying to get back healthy as fast as I can, but as safe as I can. It's been a little bit hard, not being out there and not being able to play for almost 4 or 5 weeks now. So just trying to do what I can, as far as going to treatment and getting myself as healthy as possible.
Yeah. Have you ever dealt with an injury like this before? Is this something that you've had to, battle, in the past?
I've been injured before, but not to this extent.
Okay.
I've broken my hand before, but I've never torn any type of ligament or anything until this past injury. So it was a different experience. It doesn't go as quick as you would like, and that's the hard part. That's the part where you really gotta, lock in mentally and just take it day by day because you want the process to go faster, but that's just not the case. So you gotta really get to know your body and do what you can, and just control what you can control, and eventually you'll get. So.
Yeah. So I think so how far out do you think you're out right now? Like about like a couple weeks? Like
probably another 2 to 4 weeks before I get back on the turf. But excited, trying to be a good teammate and be supportive towards Bryant football. So
absolutely. Obviously, this team right now heading into a new conference. There's a lot of great guys on this team, a lot of veteran leadership. How have they been helping someone like you, coming into your second year? How have they been?
They've been awesome. The guys on the especially as a defensive player, the defensive captains, with Joe Andreessen and Ryan Sadler, they're very supportive. They're not even supportive only with me, but as far as the whole defense, we're in the secondary, we're a very young group of guys. So there's going to be mental mistakes, and there's going to be things that don't go our way. But them always being there, as almost like just being great teammates, and being supportive no matter what, and understanding that. Be here to guide us as well as us being there to have their back when things aren't going well for them. So they've been very supportive. The whole defense as a unit is very supportive. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. For yourself, if you had to just say that there was like one guy on that team who was like your guy on that defensive side that you have the utmost amount of trust and respect for, who would that guy be?
I would definitely say Ryan Sadler. He to me, he embodies what it is to be a true football player. I mean, he goes out, plays hard-nosed football. He makes the tackles. He gets in the fits and stuff like that. And he's always making sure he's a great person outside football player. So that's definitely somebody I'm trying to embody myself as, to be a great football player, but also be a great person as well. So he's definitely someone that does his job, and rightfully so. He's the captain of our defense. So.
Yeah.
That would be my vote.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, you guys are facing new competition this year, moving to the Big South Conference. It's a pretty, it's a different, it's definitely a interesting jump in competition. You guys formerly were in the NEC. For yourself, have you noticed a difference in the intensity? Obviously, you're not on the field, but have you noticed a difference in the intensity of the two conferences? Anything striking so far?
We haven't got into any type of conference play yet, but definitely
Sure.
the intensity has been this. I wouldn't say it has changed. We still try to take every game the same as if it's a conference game or not. Our coaching staff tries to, just tell our players to always have the same mindset every game. Take it one game at a time. You shouldn't be worried about the next week. When you have a game this week, no matter who the opponent is. So we've just been taking it week by week. Studying, going through film, really getting to know our opponents who are playing the week of. And, yes, we're glad to be in the Big South. It's a big a jump for our program. And, it's definitely some step in the right direction. But, been having a little bit of, I wouldn't say a rough start, but, things starting off 0-2 the season. Things can start to go downhill, but the type of coaches we have and the program that we have going, we're going to be able to pick things up. And I strongly believe that. So we'll be going in the upward direction very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you got the coaching staff for you guys that have done, a pretty solid job so far. Obviously, the first 2 games of the year have been pretty tough. The game down in Miami was a real tough one for you guys. I was watching some of that, and definitely was a tough one down there. And then URI, you guys were in it at the beginning, and things kind of got away towards the end there. But in terms of really, gauging the team moving forward, how do you feel, about this group?
I think we have a great group of guys. We have some type of special chemistry as far as our team. We look at it as far as like we're not just a team, but we're a family. We look at it as we should hold each other accountable in the classroom, hold each other accountable on the football field and off the football field to just be in that aspect. We don't look at it as far as like everyday practice with each other, go to meetings, this, that, meals, etc. And that's it. Like, we try to, be there for each other throughout all of it. So, when we are on the field, we feel comfortable, doing things with these guys because this is our family together rather than just our team, so that's something that our coaches embody us to be, and that's something that we're really trying to harp on. So.
Yeah. I want to get into you now. Obviously, you're playing Division I football. Take me back. How did this all start? What was, the big thing that, really got you into playing this game?
I actually grew up playing basketball in high school. I went to St. Joseph High School in Metuchen, New Jersey, which is a very high-known basketball program in New Jersey. I ended up switching to football my senior year of high school because my friend passed away in the summer of 2020.
Oh my
He was
goodness.
shot and killed, and during the pandemic, he was probably like down the street from me, so he would come over my house all the time. He was probably the one person during the pandemic that I was close with, that I was able to work out with because, fortunately enough, my parents able to get like a little gym in my garage, so I would work out during the pandemic, keep myself in shape. So when he passed, he told me about before he passed about how he would love to see me play college football and love to see me, go out my senior year and make plays. So that's exactly what I tried to do. I made those plays, I did what I had to do. And I'm fortunate enough to be at Bryant playing Division I football as I promised to him, but I also promised to myself. So.
Yeah, I mean that's incredible. The fact that you were able to that you've been able to use that as inspiration. I'm so sorry about your friend, by the way. That's
Thank you. I
terrible.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Obviously to battle through a mental kind of struggle like that, as well as that physical loss, how were you able to translate that into really, putting into really, being the best possible version of yourself on the football field? How did that drive you?
As much as it really hurt me, and it just sometimes you question things. I really try not to question things a lot in my life. I try to look at it instead of saying why. I'm a big firm believer in everything happens for a reason. Of course, I would never wish anything on that on anyone, and of course not one of my closest friends. But I almost looked up to God, and I was like, maybe this was something that was supposed to drive me. And I'm not saying that in the way that I wanted this to happen, like I said
Yeah.
previously, but I just use that as motivation to make sure to really work as hard as I can to get to become the player that I wanted to be. And I'm still trying to become that player, by staying in film and learning from other players and just critiquing things that I can get myself better at have in my game, because like I told you, I'm still fairly new to the game of football. I've got in my 3 years playing now. And I would say I'm definitely going in the right direction as far as the knowledge of the game. So I'm very grateful in that aspect, and I'm learning everything about the sport every day. So
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That the fact that you're able to, be the fact that you're able to make strides and be, in a Division I program says enough about itself. For getting to this level, obviously you said that you played basketball in high school. When making the jump over to football, how how much did that athleticism and and certain skills that you learned over in basketball help translate onto the gridiron?
I would definitely say they helped a lot. Basketball is not necessarily similar to football, but a
No,
lot of the I would say, like you said, the athletic aspect of it translate over to the football field, because, in my opinion, to play football, you need to be an athlete. Um,
yes,
you have to, of course, there's when you start playing college football and you play, if you make it professionally, you have to learn a lot more in depth of the sport, and you need to really learn about it. But playing high school football, and if you play before high school, like junior pee wee, all that kind of stuff, it's really just athleticism. If you're an athlete, you can make plays. Your coaches will put you out there to do what you have to do. But
hmm
another thing, as far as going to college, of course, if you're an athlete, you're gonna make plays, but you also need to be smart in the sport, because there's guys, at the Division I level, at the Division II or Division III level, that are athletes, and they are just as good as you, better than you, or whatever. So of course, you need to prove yourself that you can play. But you also need to. I always tell myself I need to prove what I do different than someone else. To show why I belong and why or what's special about me, if that makes any sense.
yeah.
So yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, I completely get that. There's definitely, I'd say, obviously, when you take someone that has played multiple sports, it definitely obviously creates that edge. And also just being, I see a lot of people that just stick to one sport and are one dimensional, and some of them have great success with it, but I find that most times the athletes that come from these other backgrounds and also have multiple different sports they play, they usually have a lot of success because of working different muscle groups and just being active more often than, I'd say, a football player that's active for the season and then he'll take that season off. Then he has to basically get back into the flow of things. Whereas if you take a kid who in high school plays high school football, then goes over to basketball, and then say in the spring maybe runs track, does
Yep.
baseball, they're active all time. They're all times of the year. And
Yep.
that's something that's really valuable because you are constantly keeping your body in the best possible shape.
Yep.
Yeah, it's something that's really interesting to see, especially with guys like that. Now, for you, obviously, getting into college football, you got in fairly late. When did you realize that, hey, I'm actually pretty decent at this football thing? I might have a shot to play Division I here. When did that slowly start to creep into your mind?
Um, I would probably say probably like a month or two after my senior year of football ended.
Yeah,
Went into the recruiting process, and at first, I was grateful for all my offers, and still to this day, I am, for all the coaches that took a shot on me. But it went from levels of the Division III to Division II, all the way up to Division I. So seeing that coaches saw that potential in me. And I feel like I'm a completely different player than I was at that time. Just to see that there was that type of potential in me really made me think, I am as good enough. And me telling myself I'm good enough, also helped it, because a coach can, think whatever in you, but you gotta believe in yourself to believe that, you can do what you strive out to do. So that's what I've been trying to tell myself. Just to, believe that what I can do, all the work that I put in, will all come into full effect, so that's how I look at it.
yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, you talked about you just mentioned getting multiple offers, and then you've also talked about Bryant and just the amazing impact that these guys have had here. What was it though that brought you to Smithfield? What made you say, "All right, I really like Bryant. I'm actually going to consider going here now, and this is going to be my home for the next 4 years."
I just outside of the football program, I thought Brian had a excellent academic field as far as the
Sure.
school. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know a lot about Rhode Island or about Smithfield before Bryant. But the academic program spoke out to me a lot. And then when I looked more in depth to the football program, I liked the direction that our head coach, Coach Merritt, was trying to take them in. him coming in, and I had spoke a lot with my current defensive coordinator, Coach Barisi, in my recruiting process. So he got me really comfortable with how I can come in and benefit the team in any way I can. So that pitch, also helped me, into making my decision. And I was like, Ryan is the place to be for me. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm from Massachusetts, so I probably know Rhode Island a little bit better than most, but still it's a tiny state, man. It is freaking small. So, and it's crazy too, with all the competition and, pretty solid athletic programs that you have in the state. Obviously, you have Brown, who's a pretty, big rival of ours. You have URI, who you guys faced last night. And then, on the basketball side of things, you got PC, who's always a powerhouse. So, in one small state, you got 4 schools that are always gunning at the D1 level. And it's incredible how, competitive they all can be with one another. So, you come to Bryant, you do some things here. As you're trying to prepare to get back, I can only imagine that your best days as a Bulldog are ahead of you. But so far, what have been some of your favorite memories? It could be either in the football field, just at Bryant in general, but what are some of your favorite memories with Bryant so far?
I would definitely say just, creating relationships with guys, guys that I live with right now. I have great relationships with, just the people that I've met being at Bryant. I feel like it's long term. It's not just, for the time being. So I'm really grateful in that aspect. As far as coming to Bryant, and as far as the academic source, I want to become a physician assistant.
Okay.
Or I wanted to go into physical therapy. And Bryant has a PA program for grad school, and they also have a major which that I think was just added this past year that goes towards if you wanted to become a physical therapist. I'm still on this right now, but for when I get to that opportunity for like in the next few upcoming months, we'll figure out exactly what I want to do. That also was excited for me. But football wise, I would just definitely say it's just fun being out there. It's fun, having a good relationship with the guys and, joking but also when it's time to lock in, you have a group of guys that, that come out every day, every day of the week to practice, on Saturday to play, to make plays. You know what I mean? So that's an experience that, it's like no other for me.
Yeah, sure thing. What really got you interested in the PA program? Is there someone in your family that does something like
So
that?
my mom is a nurse, and she has been for I think as long as I've been born. So her being in the whole medical field, kind of got me into me learning about medicine, got me kind of into science, and I wanted to not necessarily be a doctor, but almost like the next level step of being a doctor. And I thought PA was cool. I spoke to several PAs, and I've kind of been I haven't gone on any type of internship or anything like that, but I spoke to a bunch of them, and it just makes me more interested in that and becoming that.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. So, that's going to be a very heavy course load for yourself. How are you planning to, attend? I mean, obviously PA is grad school, but you talk about this major that would, help, possibly prepare you for it.
Yeah,
That's a big course load though, and obviously having to manage Division I football with that is not going to be easy. How are you going to try to manage all that?
I'm thankful to my parents. They've established me to be big on time management and responsibility. My whole life, I've always tried to put things that I believe are important above things that I could essentially have more fun in and stuff like that. So, for example, I try to put my priorities basically my needs over my wants. So just to keep it short and simple like that, sometimes you want to go out, you want to have friends, you want to have fun with your friends and stuff, but you have to do the things that are going to better help yourself. So you're going to miss out on opportunities, but that's how I look at it.
Absolutely. No,
So
absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a grind. Obviously, it's something that I've interviewed a lot of kids on the football team before, a lot of Division I athletes, on the basketball teams, on the baseball teams, and it's something that they all have to battle with and do that. Obviously, it's not an easy thing, but in terms of other challenges that you'd say Division I athletes face, what is one that you'd say particularly has been one that you've had to try to overcome?
It's definitely being a Division I athlete, being a college athlete, a student athlete. It's definitely it's hard because you really need to know how to like I said, I spoke about just recently, time management. I feel like that's the most important thing. You need to, you really need to have a schedule. I would say you can't really go into every day being like, okay, maybe I do this at this time, maybe I do that at that time. Because yeah, you can do that. I'm not saying that it's impossible because there's probably kids that have done, but that's a lot harder.
I've done that at times.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah, it gets away from you.
exactly. So it makes it harder for you. And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm perfect on my schedule every day, but if you give yourself a balance, it makes it a lot easier because things get hard. You get exams start to come in, and homework starts to come in, and just other things as far as in the academic field start to pile up, as well as football. So if you really try to schedule yourself on what you can do at what times, and still have your fun and still enjoy yourself, and not necessarily be like a robot. It's just like football in school, but just have that balance. You should be able to work it out. But I think definitely the hardest part is the balance, and having trying to figure out how long you can sleep for, and because you have to wake up so early, and you have class, and that's definitely the hardest part. Just trying to balance the two of them and manage your time as best as you can.
No, yeah. I mean, that's something I know I've done. I'm going in my senior year here at Bryant, and
Okay.
I remember I would, sometimes wait on weekends, and not on weekends, but just during the week before my next class, and I would game plan out, and I would say, all right, if I want to be up maybe an hour or two before my class, then I'm gonna have to fall asleep at this time if I want to get at least 8 hours of sleep. Sometimes I'll get it, sometimes you won't, just depending
Yeah.
on how that goes. And then it's like, all right, yeah, I got class at this time, I got work at this time, I am doing an interview for something at this time, like on my show. This year I took over as the general manager of the radio station, so I'm planning out a lot of
That's
things like
awesome.
that. I'm planning a fall concert right now, so there's like a lot of different things that I know myself I've had to do, and I can't even imagine. Oh,
Awesome.
if I had to do a lift at like 6 a.m, I
6
think
in the morning. Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, like this is ridiculous. I'm getting up at like 8, 9 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, this is like, oh, this is great. But no, like that would just be insane.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like you said, you have your own things going on. It's hard. So, it's
No,
all
yeah.
about
Does
balance.
it ever get overwhelming for you?
It definitely does. I'm not gonna sit here and say every day is perfect. But it's just about I really try not to feel sorry for myself or get down on myself because I feel like that will make it worse. You really just try to pick yourself up. And
Yeah.
if you try to be as positive as possible, because you're gonna have bad days, things are not gonna go your way sometimes, but it's how you respond and how you go, how you move forward from those days. You don't want those
Yeah.
things to pile up and they become, repetitive. So you just gotta try to what I always tell myself is to stay 10 toes and just keep going one day at a time. I literally my lock screen on my phone is literally keep moving forward. So, regardless of what's going on, to keep moving forward and hope that things will go your way.
Yeah. Obviously, we were just talking now about some of the struggles that can come with being, not even just a Division I athlete, but just a college student.
Yeah.
But I would say, as I kind of wonder, is there any perks that you'd say of there being like a Division I athlete? Is it like maybe the camaraderie of having like those group of guys behind you that have that similar experience? Is that something that you consider to be,
I
a
would
potential
definitely
perk?
say that's a perk. Having a lot of guys that are in similar situations, situations as you is a perk in my opinion. Obviously we all come from different backgrounds, different families, different states, etc. But
Sure.
just us all coming here together to be athletes at Bryant, that it's definitely a perk. It almost makes you feel more comfortable, and that's one thing I'm extremely grateful for. When I first came to Bryant last year, I didn't have to have that worry about finding my friend group and seeing who I would be comfortable with because I came in a month early for August camp, where I
Yeah.
got comfortable with guys, and I had a good understanding of who my people were before we even started. So I'm grateful for that, and I would definitely say that's a perk because you develop relationships with people a lot easier than it usually is coming into college.
Yeah. I mean, something I've definitely seen here is that the camaraderie is obviously present among those teams, but it's even present amongst, athletes that you guys aren't on the same team with. I mean, I saw
Yeah,
that yesterday, Bryant basketball was having a tailgate for you guys' game. They were out
yeah,
there having a great time. They were posting about it, saying, they were having a ton of fun. And then on the flip side, I've seen you guys at some of the Bryant basketball playoff games. Some guys I know for
yeah,
sure that I've had on the show, guys like Jihad Edmond, the tight end on your guys' team,
yeah. Mhm.
Ronald Joseph, who's left at this point, but I've had those guys on this show, and I've seen them at these games, and it's really awesome to see that, there are athletes supporting athletes like that.
Exactly.
Is that something that you've seen you've seen and really can speak to as well?
Yes, 100%. Just knowing that outside of your own comfort zone, there's other athletes, at Bryant that are supporting other athletes, and that's important. Just like I'm sure it happens at other schools as well, but just to know that it's happening here makes it so much of a more, you know, it makes it so much of an easier experience. Knowing that basketball supports football and vice versa, and soccer and lacrosse supports, just like all sports support each other in that regard. So it makes it, that they always got your back. We're all Bulldogs at the end of the day, and we just want to, obviously we want to do what's best for our teams and what's best for ourselves, but we want to do what's best for the school.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel like that honestly makes the games that more intense, because you see those crowds, and I was in the crowd for some of those Bryant basketball games, and just having a bunch of out of season athletes, or for some even some in season athletes in the crowd going nuts. It just makes the crowd that more intense, and the atmosphere just that more electric. And I have a bunch of football guys that be near me, a bunch of potential baseball guys like that, and then just some regular people like me. And it'd be just an insane atmosphere. I don't know about you, but I feel like that definitely heightens the atmosphere in the place.
yeah, I agree. Most definitely.
Yeah. For yourself, obviously, you're heading into you're in this still, I'd say, the first half of your college career. You still got 2 more years ahead of you. But if you could go back and you could look at that kid that came into Bryant at the very beginning as a freshman, what would be some advice that you'd give to him?
Definitely that it's a learning experience.
Sure.
Being in high school, it was a lot. It's a whole different experience, in my opinion, from high school to Bryant. You go from one of the best players on your football team coming here, being at guys who are at the same level as you, and guys that are all working to a common goal. But these are all great athletes that rightfully so should be here and that are here. So just to understand that, to learn and really, don't take things for granted, take things day by day, because all these guys are here are great athletes, and all these guys are here to better themselves just as you are. So as long as you learn, and you continue to go in the weight room, and you continue to work on getting bigger, stronger, faster, but also you're learning as far as like the whole football aspect, then things will become so much easier, and it will slow the game down. And that's really wish I could tell myself, my past self, because as long as you just really do those things, it slows the game down, and it makes things a lot easier for you moving forward.
Yeah, the learning experience is definitely something that I've heard before, especially from football guys coming in here. When I've had them on the show before, they've talked about just the speed of the game, the way it's just broken down. What was the biggest thing that you'd probably say was kind of that changed for you? Like, what was the big thing that you noticed when you came here, and what was the big difference?
So I would say definitely just the learning experience aspect is just like I got a different knowledge of the game.
Yeah.
I learned a lot more as a defensive player about things about formations, tendencies of offenses, and all that kind of stuff. So I almost started to look at the game of football because as like they call us college athletes, student athletes, but so I'm a student of the game basically. Like I learn about the game of football, and that's how I started to look at it, rather than like, oh yeah, I go to Bryant University as a student, I play football. I'm like, no, I'm a student in a classroom, and I'm a student for football as well. So I
No,
would
yeah.
definitely say that's what changed, to just learn, and
Yeah.
to just learn and get better in that aspect. Because once I make myself as knowledgeable as possible in that aspect, I mean, I think believe the sky's the limit. So
No, yeah. I mean, you're not just going out there and just like tossing the ball around the yard, just like playing for fun anymore. Like
exactly.
you are breaking things down, and it's more than just another class. It's like your entire way of life, like just
Yep.
completely getting flipped on its head.
100%. I agree.
Yeah. So obviously, I usually ask that. I would usually ask you at the end of the show about what your future plans are. You've already enlightened me on that. So I'll kind of close with this. If you have any goals for yourself moving forward, whether it be this season when you get back from injury or next season and beyond? What would be a goal that you have for yourself on the football field?
I would just to say to get better every day. I look at it. One thing that one of my best friends from back at home, we always tell each other just 1% better every day. I wouldn't say I have a goal, but as long as I know deep down inside I'm getting better and becoming a better football player every day, that's what matters to me. I don't want to speak too much up on it, but if I'm doing my thing on the football field and I'm making the plays and I'm learning, like as I spoke about, then like I said, the sky's the limit for me, and just any way I can really help my team out moving forward is all that matters for me. So of course I would like to become a better player as time progresses, but just getting better 1% every single day, doing what I can, and things will work
Yeah.
out for me, God willing.
No, absolutely. I mean, listen, Cal, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It's been a blast to have you on.
Thank you so
Unfortunately,
much for having me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we are now down to the wire, which means that we're going to wrap up everything we talked about on the show today. But first, if you guys are not following Down the Wire at this point, what are you guys doing? We are available everywhere you guys can stream podcasts, whether that be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. You can also find the video stream to this show on YouTube, and you can find all of the links, all of them, in our Instagram bio at down.tothewire. Again, at down.tothewire on the IG. Calson, is there anything that you want to shout out as well?
Not at all. Go Bulldogs.
Yeah. All right.
Y'all can follow me on Instagram, ckg.cal. But outside of that, go Bulldogs. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely. All right. Well, first of all, Cal, thank you so much again. We brought Cal on the show today to talk about his football journey. The Bryant Bulldogs now in the Big South Conference. Obviously they're going to have to take a big step now here in these next couple of weeks, battle it back. I was already talking with some of your teammates. The goal of 2-2 is, to get back to 500. That's the goal right now. So I'm wishing you guys the best of luck in getting back there. So it was all in all a great episode talking with Cal today. Thank you so much, man. I really cannot appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian.
Can't say it enough. Yeah. All right. Well, Cal, it's been great talking with you, but from Down the Wire, I'm Brian Costa.
I'm Calson Goodwill.
And we hope you guys have a great day. Take care and peace out.